breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Hey folks, it is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. You're listening to The Daily Ledger Show, and I am your host, Dennis Sert. Great to be here with you today. We got some good stories to get into. We're going to talk about President Trump increasing tariffs on South Korea. We're going to talk about NVIDIA investing $2 billion into CoreWeave. We're going to talk about landmark trial tests claims that social media harms teens. And this is different from what we talked about with Snap last week. Google pays $68 million to settle claims its voice assistant spied on users. And we got some stuff on there that we're going to dig into that might be kind of juicy. Yeah, let's talk about some of our markets today. We're up on the Dow Jones 0.64%, Nasdaq is up 0.43%, S&P 500 is up 0.50%, and Bitcoin is down 0.44%, down to 87,779. Before we get into today's stories, make sure to download By AI Market Analysis off the iOS App Store. It's basically a financial co-pilot driven by AI that tells you whether or not you should enter or exit the market on any of your stocks in your portfolio. It does it based off of technical indicators like the Bollinger Bands, RSI curve, and MACD/signal curve, as well as the news sentiment. And the recommendations/analyses refresh every about half hour. So make sure to use that as a tool. It's my favorite tool to do day trading with throughout the day. Of course, By AI is not a financial advisor, and neither am I. And past success does not guarantee future results. But however, it's a great tool. I love to use it, and make sure you do too. Okay, so Trump raises tariffs on South Korea to 25%, not living up to its deal with the U.S. So as we know, last year after Liberation Day, right, there were just a slew of basically like tariffs going up April 2nd, 2025. And essentially many countries decided to strike a deal with the U.S., including the UK, including, apparently South Korea, a few other countries, right? The EU, right? I mean, let's just face it, it's all, it's pretty much the equivalent of the US, right? I mean, it's not like, oh, we did a trade agreement with Spain. No, we did it with the EU, with Ursula von der Leyen, okay? Let's be adults about this. Anyways, so apparently though, South Korea and the U.S. kind of had this preliminary deal, and Trump ended up lowering the tariffs, sort of anticipating that it was going to be ratified. But it actually never got ratified in South Korea. So that's why Trump is increasing the tariffs and saying that they're not living up to the deal. So that's kind of what's going on there. NVIDIA invests $2 billion in CoreWeave, an AI factory collaboration. Companies say they will build plants in NVIDIA's computing platform technology. So NVIDIA has been very busy. CoreWeave, of course, is kind of this AI data center infrastructure type company. It's kind of in the background, lots of companies are making deals with them, including OpenAI and everybody big. So they're making a deal with NVIDIA, $2 billion. NVIDIA has been quite busy. They've done 2 deals in the past week, one of which was this startup called Synthesia, which basically trains employees using interactive videos. Okay. So yeah, good for NVIDIA making all of these investments. Okay. Landmark trial tests claims that social media harms teens. California case follows similar script as lawsuits against big tobacco and pharmaceutical companies. So we kind of talked about the Snap, as in Snapchat, settlement that happened last week, and I clip farmed some good stuff from that. And I saw this, I was like, huh. And it turns out it's actually the same plaintiff. So it's this, like, I guess, teenage girl. Her name, she's being identified here as KJM, or no, sorry, KGM. And so, anyways, yeah, here she is. Essentially, she's um sued all of the big tech companies, just like talking about, I guess, like struggling with body dysmorphia, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, addiction, and depression. I don't really want to slam her on that, but it's like, can we just agree that it's a little bit absurd to like sue everybody if you're feeling kind of sad? It's like, you can just hit the gym, right? It's like, you're not that special, I'm sorry. It's what are you gonna do, man? Like, I mean, hey, shit, you know what? Maybe I should be suing these guys. You know what I mean? Like, what's up with that? Yeah, that's a hot take, but what are you gonna do about it? Um, but yeah, so I think on the real though, I think the big companies are actually gonna win, because they have too much plausible deniability here, right? So specifically, it says here, Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, of course, says the plaintiff's lawyers will try to paint an intentionally misleading picture of Meta with cherry-picked quotes and snippets of conversations taken out of context. The full record will show that the company has consistently put teen safety ahead of growth for a decade, and they tend to, they definitely do that with various features of theirs, along with YouTube, which has a concrete thing that I know very well. They essentially say the same thing. They say YouTube said it would show jurors how it has built safeguards into its product, and they really have, right? So it kind of, so one, there's like a YouTube Kids app, I guess, with a bunch of like parental controls, and I'm just talking about things that will convince a jury, right? Just enough plausible deniability. So there's that. There's also like this feature where it doesn't let you be on the app past a certain time. You can like set your bedtime or whatever. And then it just like puts up like a wall, and it says like, oh, like, don't access the app. You need to go to bed, right? So there's a few things like that where there's a thing where, because YouTube has been hit with stuff with this like this before. They make you now up whenever you upload a video to YouTube or a short, it makes you say whether or not it's made for kids or not. And I think the EU might have kind of forced them via litigation or an investigation to kind of force them to add this thing, because it doesn't let you upload the video without it. And if you set it as for kids or whatever, then you're not allowed to play it. Basically, you're not allowed to play videos made for kids in the mini player or whatever. You're not allowed to do a few other things. So my point is that they are doing a lot of things already that I think will convince a jury that, they're putting in the work, right? That, and, all of these guys have, just boatloads of money they can throw at teams of lawyers. So I don't really see them losing. You know what I mean? I know Snap settled, but like, and it's like, even if they lose, like, okay, I give them like an 80% chance of not losing, big tech. But let's say in the 20% that they do lose, okay, just pay the settlement, or I guess it's going to trial. Okay, fine, just pay the fines or whatever, and then move on, right? Of course, it's going to be a little bit of a reputational hit since it's going into trial. Snap, of course, last week decided to not have it go to trial, and they settled outright. So that's kind of what's going on. But yeah. Google pays $68 million to settle claims its voice assistant spied on users. So this is kind of interesting because, like, let's face it, ever since like the era of Siri and the Echo and the Amazon Echo and everything, like, honestly, since the era of smartphones in general, like, I'm talking about the beginning of that era, you constantly have microphones that are just sending your data and your voice up to like servers from, like, whether it's big tech itself or spyware that was put on while you were like pirating a movie or something. And it's like, you kind of have to be cognizant of that. right? Because like, they say ignorance is bliss, and like a lot of the public is ignorant, especially with like technical stuff like this. I mean, it's not easy to comprehend really for most people, but it's like, um, yeah. So like, for instance, I used to have an Apple Watch. I don't have one right now. Yeah, but it's like if I had an Apple Watch on, I have my phone in front of me. I have this MacBook Pro. It's my laptop. Um, I would have 3 devices listening to me right now in the worst case. And then if like somebody else was around, their phone, their Apple Watch or whatever, it's like, okay, like we're constantly surrounded by devices that are listening to us, people. It's like that's kind of how the Instagram Reels and TikTok, that's how they adjust their algorithm, you know what I mean? That's how advertisers know how to target you like super super well, like aside from all of your like internet uh surfing history or whatever. It's like that's kind of how they do it. Um so let me make sure the camera's on. Yeah. Um so anyway, so I guess like diving into the article specifically, so they kind of talk about how the case centered on false accepts, wherein Google Assistant is alleged to have activated and recorded the user's communications even if they had not intentionally prompted to do so with the wake word. Okay, like they're gonna lean on that. They're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We had, well, it already happened. They already settled." But like, that's what they leaned on. They were like, "Oh, like we accidentally had false accepts. Like, oopsies." Right? It's like, no, they were, of course, intentionally listening whenever they wanted, which is 24/7. Right? It's like false accepts is the perfect scapegoat because it's like, wow, we might be incompetent. Oh, my bad. It's like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. None of you fuckers are incompetent. All of you are competent. And this was an intentional decision. And people are just going to be like, wow, Google's incompetent, guys. Oh, really? No. My God. Um, and yeah, so it's like, as a concrete example, going back to what I was saying with like Instagram Reels and TikTok and stuff, like adjusting their algorithm just based on like every reel is based off of like tags and stuff. And so it's like, where do they get the tags? Well, other things that you spent more time on, right? We talked about this last week, but it's like as you swipe, you tend to spend a little bit more time. Let's call it like 2.7 seconds, just as a random example, on something that you like. Then the algorithm knows that you like that more, tags that are associated with, let's say, cooking. I don't know, not me, but like cooking, muffins, whatever else, forks, spatulas. And it's like you spend 2.7 seconds on that reel with those tags, and then you swipe and something else regarding birthday cakes, just as an example, you only spend like 0.9 seconds on it. Well, then the algorithm knows that you like spatulas, you like, food, muffins more than the birthday cake. So then it'll like start giving you more of the spatulas and everything in the first example versus the muffins versus the birthday cake. Anyways, so that's kind of how it works, right? But what I'm saying is it also takes into input basically the processed voice that all of your phones are giving it, right? So just I'm talking about, obviously our phones are listening to us or whatever. And it's like the algorithm processes that, turns it into like little tags if there are tags available that it can use, and then that's how it enters your algorithm, right? So that's just how it works. And what was really funny was so there's this girl I know, and so she was telling me, she's like, yeah, my BFF's having a baby next week, and it's not actually her boyfriend's, but the boyfriend thinks it is. And then my Instagram, I was like, wow, that's wild. And then my Instagram Reels algorithm adjusted the next day, and I saw like 3 memes where it's like it's pretty much exactly that, where it's like, oh my God, my husband thinks it's his, and then it's like clearly, not the husband's kid, right? And so I saw like 3 separate memes on that. I was like, wow, this thing is wild because, obviously I was not searching anything like that. So it's like, that's kind of wild, people, kind of wild, but that's just an example. And then it's like, So this is a story from 2019 from the Daily Mail. And like, think about this. This is before the era of AI. Alexa listens to users having sex, and some recordings are listened to by Amazon staff, whistleblower claims. Amazon staff analyzed 0.2% of all Alexa interactions to confirm her performance. Employees reportedly listen to as many as 1,000 user recordings per day. Experts warn to note that Alexa may be recording them unexpectedly, and it kind of talks about it here. Amazon staff review thousands of audio recordings made by Alexa each day, including snippets of couples arguing and having sex, and an investigation claims. The clips were accidentally captured by the popular digital assistant, confusing the noises for commands it should be listening to, and sent off for analysis. Yes, it's definitely not all on 24/7, just, false alarms. And it kind of talks about here, it's been said that couples having sex and even what sounded like a sex attack have been heard by staff, a former Amazon analyst told The Sun. And it kind of talks about here some X posts. Our Alexa randomly speaks in the middle of the night, answers random questions, which is fantastic when you got to be up in 4 hours for a full day of traveling. Our Alexa just randomly said woohoo, and we don't know what triggered it. I'm afraid to fall asleep. Please send backup. Right. Yeah, so it's like, again, from 2019, and you have to understand that this is where the money is. Why do you think, like, just to like grossly oversimplify the role of big tech and why they have so much money? It's like, why do you think they have that much money? Do you really think it's just like from selling iPhones, or it's from having free, Facebook service, right? No. It's like there's a lot of money in these like sort of shady data collection schemes, right? There's a lot of money, like billions of dollars, right? And this stuff isn't really in the public sphere, but it's just like it kind of pokes his head out every now and then with like articles like this. But here's the thing though, like imagine employees reportedly listen to as many as 1,000 user recordings per day. Folks, in 2019, that's what was happening. What do you think AI is doing right now? How do you think I'm clipping these reels when I do clip farming? I just put it in an AI platform. I used to do it myself, and I was like, wow, this thing's way too long. I have to hit the gym and do all my other work. It's like I just gave it to an AI, and the AI does all of it now. People, it's like the AI is listening, and I'll tell you exactly how it does it. It takes the transcript, okay, and then it figures out within the transcript which is the funniest part, and then it clips that based on the start and the end time associated with that little clip of the transcript. Like, it doesn't like watch the video, it does it based off of the transcript. And it's like, even that is so primitive. It's like it, because where this is going is like it will be able to actually watch the video like we're watching it, analyze the tone of voice and stuff, like when I'm more animated versus not, right? Probably is already doing that. Maybe the thing I'm specifically using isn't doing that, but it's like, what if the employees were listening to that? What do you think the AI is listening to? The AI is listening to you having sex with your wife, folks. That's what's happening. All right. All right, we're going to end it there. Make sure to download Byte AI off the App Store to make more informed trades on the stock market, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.